Now we are on volume 6, which is the last one for this presentation, the AI awareness and ethics. And here we're going to talk more about some of the predictions for the scientists. I would like to see them, what they think about the timeline for the progress of AI. We're going to talk about, what's needed for data centers of uh, different AI products like ChatGPT. Talk about the negative sides of AI, and we talk about regulations. So this is very important one, and the reason I left it at the end, it's because first we need to understand the AI and what it can and cannot do, and then we can just start talking about regulations. So I hope you find that one interesting for you. So some might wonder about the time frame or the timeline for when all is going to happen. So if we look at Ray Kurzweil's predictions, and he is a famous American computer scientist and author, he's been making predictions about different technology for the past maybe 30 years or more, and usually he was always right on all his predictions. So he said that by year 2029, we will have the AI that reach human levels, which means by 2020, year 2029, we will have the AI that's equivalent to human intelligence in all sectors, not just one. Because now we are in a stage where we can have different devices, but each can equate to human intelligence, but not one device that will have intelligence in all sectors. And even he added after that, he said, follow that hour further to say 2045, we will have multiplied the intelligence, the human, biological, and machine intelligence of our civilization a billionfold. So he's expecting that year 2045, we will have that machine that will exceed the intelligence, our intelligence, will have that self-awareness, would be a transcendent AI or galaxy AI where it goes beyond space and time. Many newspapers wrote about him and about his books. CBS News said one of the best of the new fall books. Amazon said one of the best science books of 2005. New York Times also said that he was one 13th most blogged about book of 2005. Also, Bill Gates actually wrote something about him, which is at the bottom of the page here, the one on the right. He said, Ray Kurzweil is the best person I know of predicting the future of artificial intelligence. His intriguing new book envisions a future in which information technology have advanced so far and fast that the entire humanity to be transcended its biological limitation, transforming our lives in ways we cannot even imagine. And this is coming from Bill Gates, and I believe that he will not make a statement like that unless he is quite sure about, what he's saying. So, in summary, what kind of technologies that we need today in order for the AI move through the different stages and come up with all the advanced ideas that some of the scientists would like to achieve? Voice recognition is one of them, and we need to, or the data scientists need to work on strengthen that voice recognition so the machine will not make mistake about, whose voice is this. Also with video, that's another thing, it's another advancement that we need. And with this one, NVIDIA is considered one of the top companies that leading that technology. Image recognition, the same. We would be able to identify faces and be able to consider that to be accurate 100%, not making mistakes when it comes to recognizing images, especially if we count on that to drive the car and recognize different objects. The languages that the computer scientists or data scientists use to code some of the models here for AI is called Python language. So they write most of the algorithm in this language, and it's actually very similar to Java. And the difference is with Python, it's more user-friendly than Java. Transformers that will have the algorithm loaded to it. And also we need a very large computers and microchips and very advanced hardware in order for the technologists to come up with the ideas that they have in mind. One of the challenges that the scientists face today about AI, and they feel maybe it will hinder the progress of the AI, is the requirements that needed to run AI data centers. So you see now two pictures I have here. One of them is the massive number of servers in a data center. And based on some statistic, it seems like the last few years, the number of data centers have been doubled because of the AI technology and AI in general in different areas, especially ChatGPT. So it requires a massive number of servers because you're loading a lot of data. It's like you're loading a whole encyclopedia on the servers. So when a search is done, you would be able to find the right information. Also, the growing demand for energy and water. So for the energy, the GPT requires about 15 times more energy than the traditional web search. There was a conference last month in England, and we're talking about these issues. But some of the major companies, marketing officer for generative AI, they mentioned that the progress of AI might be impacted because of the kind of energy or the amount of energy the data centers require. So back again to that trip that the president made last month or more to the Saudi Arabia and the kind of agreement they have about signing an investment for both countries to build data centers there in Saudi Arabia, because we know that the energy there is much affordable than in here. So we're going to watch for the next months or year to see how is that really going to impact the growth of AI. So we talked earlier about the positive sides of AI and the different ways that we can benefit and embrace the technology in different sectors. So now is the time to talk about, the negative sides, the side that we need to be aware of and make our, families aware of, and just be sensitive to some of these issues. So as any technology, privacy is something very important. And with the ChatGPT, which we all know is a very powerful tool that we use to streamline number of tasks, such as writing emails, reviewing reports and documents, and a lot more. But also, they find out that the ChatGPT in Italy had its first data leak, I believe, last year. So ChatGPT actually was temporarily banned in Italy because if they find out that it exposed personal information such as credit card detail and some other sensitive and private data. So we have to make our kids conscious to the fact that they cannot share sensitive information about themselves to any of the online kind of service, including AI. Then the cybersecurity. We all know that cybersecurity is a major issue in technology, and that actually that expression came like with the when the internet was started to be used, because the data are in the cloud, the data that we submitted to the system are somewhere in the cloud, and some people might take advantage of that. So the other issue with negative sides of AI is cybersecurity. And cybersecurity became a very common term from the time of the inception of the internet and the online sites. So here we're saying that the AI cybersecurity risk are referred to the threats and vulnerability that arise from the use of AI by malicious actors or the misuse of AI by users. So some of the example of AI cybersecurity risk are brute force. And brute force is a method that is used by attackers to gain unauthorized access to a system, and that's by systematically guessing the new username and password. This technique involves trying numerous combinations until the correct one is found. So this method is the brute attacks are straightforward, but can be highly effective, especially if we use weak password for sign-on. So my recommendation is to be very creative in coming up with user ID and password that doesn't use any of your private information, such as maybe your kids' names or dog's name or parents' name, and try to stay away from using words that's very obvious. People can guess it. So this way, it would be very hard to guess that. And when I said they try numerous combination, sometimes they use a program to create this kind of user ID and password until the right one is found. So attackers are very creative, very good in using computer. So we need to outsmart them, actually. The other one is denial of services. So the denial of service attack is a cyber attack, and in which the hackers seeks to make a machine or network resource unavailable to its intended user, and that's by temporarily or indefinitely disrupting services of a host connected to a network. The denial of service is typically accomplished by flooding the target machine or resources with superfluous requests in an attempt to overflood the system and prevent some of it or all legal requests from being fulfilled. So that's another one another one of cybersecurity issue. Then there is also social engineering, and social engineering actually is a manipulation technique that exploits human errors to gain private information access. It involves exploiting human psychology rather than technical hacking techniques, so to gain access to system and data. Attackers here often manipulate victims into divulging sensitive information by preaching to be or pretending to be a person or legal entity. So unless you make sure who you're talking to, do not give any information until you know this is the right company or the right site that you want to reach. So the next one here is about the lack of government regulations. The Biden administration in 2023, he signed an executive order for safe and secure and trustworthy development and use of artificial intelligence. And these regulations supposed to establish new standard for AI safety and security, protect privacy, advance equity and civil rights, and promote innovation. The key here is some companies who are in the development of AI, they claim that these regulations limit their creativity and doesn't allow them to take advantage of, the advancement of AI and use their creativity in coming up with the products that surpass the human intelligence. So somehow we need that kind of balance between creativity versus safety and security. And the regulations that they came up with, or the government came up with, it requires the developers of AI system that they might have any kind of risk to U.S. national security and economy to share the result of their application with the government before putting that product on the market or release it to the public. So it was very important that with the U.S. government regulations, it has to be in line with the Defense Production Act. There are also other regulations that were established by different organizations. One of them is the ISO, and that stands for International Organization of Standardization, and IEC, which is the International Electronical Commission. It set up standards for all electrical and electronic related technologies. And these regulations or these organizations actually in place for more than 100 years ago. So they are very well established organization, and people in the field of electronic and technology are very aware about these standards. Give you an example for standards for cybersecurity. That was ISO-IEC 27001. That's really the standard for cybersecurity and what kind of rules and regulations should be considered in developing a system that is secure and provides safety for the people who's using it. So for the AI, they came up with the regulations. First, one of the regulation in AI is the 42001 that was in 2023. And this is deal with the AI management system standards. So it actually provides framework for managing AI systems, for building the system. It's supposed addressing ethical consideration, transparency, and continuous learning. Almost the same thing we talked about it very early on the second slide, and was I believe was the first session we have on AI. The other standard is to provide guidance on how to manage risk of AI and be able to recognize risk and mitigate risk. And the other one is the ISO IEC 23053. This provides a framework for AI system for specific things, which is the one that's using machine learning, ML. So companies really, or innovators need to follow these regulations, and they need to keep their project folders up to date. So if there's any kind of audit coming to look at their development, they can prove to them that they follow the regulations, and they show them the result of testing the model or the new invention, and the way that provide that kind of security and safety for the users. We talked earlier about the positive sides of AI and how can we use it to our benefits in many sectors such as financial, healthcare, education. Here we start to talk a little bit about the negative sides of AI that we need to be aware of. And this way we'll be able to mitigate any kind of risk that will come from those negative sides. So what I tried to do here is actually something different than what I did in the other slides. I wanted to show you when we use some of the tools such as Copilot, which is similar to ChatGPT from Microsoft, and see the kind of results that it comes back with when you ask specific question. And actually, when I did that, I asked the Copilot a question, which was, what are the ethical implications of using AI in warfare? So when I looked at the results, actually I was very impressed. I thought it was very clear, very well organized, and the words are very eloquent. So I decided to share that with you to get a sense of, yes, there is a negative side of AI, but it's also a positive side that help us to do different kind of things, either writing emails, writing papers, just to check on something and do research. So as I said, a lot of positive things, but let's now talk about the negative side of AI. And some of it we already discussed it much earlier in the presentation when I was talking about the war between Israel and Gaza and how the drones were used in this war. So here, Copilot here giving me the answer, and I'm just going to read it because this is Copilot phrases, not mine. So the Copilot said the use of AI in warfare raises several ethical concerns. The first one is accountability and responsibility. So the autonomous weapons can make life or death decisions without human intervention, blurring moral responsibility lines. Determining who is accountable for the actions of AI in warfare is a significant challenge. And I think we all agree about this statement that is true. And we have to someone need to help us to determine who will be accountable if something goes wrong. The second one is moral agency. So the integration of AI in warfare can weaken the moral agency of human operators. Automation bias and technological mediation can diminish their capacity for ethical decision making. And here we're talking about when we use bias in AI, especially in warfare situation, since the scientists can use the bias and can include the bias in the whole formula of training AI. The bias here has to reflect a moral side of it and not prefer one ethnic group versus the other or one race versus the other. It has to be they apply to all kind of races regardless of who they are. The collateral damage AI-enabled weapon systems can facilitate the presentation of human targets, potentially leading to a higher tolerance for collateral damage. Transparency and misuse. The lack of transparency in AI decision-making processes can lead to misuse and unintended consequences. Ensuring that AI systems are used responsibly and ethically is critical. The erosion of ethical standards. The adoption of AI technologies in warfare challenges conventional notion of ethical conduct and can normalize brutality in modern warfare. So these concerns highlight the need for robust ethical guidelines and regulations to govern the use of AI in military applications. And I think this is really what we are trying to encourage all entities, companies, government to follow ethical guidelines in building the AI tools. So on this slide, we're still talking about the negative sides of AI. And one of those negative sides is most scientists and people who are very creative, they believing that the sky is their limit. So they can improve on their products, and every year they add more functionality to it. So they don't stop. They just go ahead and add more creativity to their products. And so this is, in one end, it's a positive thing. But also when people start thinking about, they can reach the sky with their tool or device, we wonder about how far they can get. So when it comes to the AI, and I think in early stage of this presentation, we talked about the mentality of some inventors about the AI, and we mentioned about the point of singularity, which means this is a point where anything else after that it exceeds our intelligence. So the inventors here always thinking how they reach to that point that they can invent something that has more intelligence and has more self-awareness than human. So it's really in one way it's a good thing, but in the other way it could harm us because at this point we don't know what it is beyond that point of singularity, and even if we can stop it when we get to that point. So there are endless possibilities for new inventions, especially if the top scientists are running that. They always look for continuous improvement, and this is something positive, not negative. But it's just a matter of fact that when you go and try to improve on something, unless you are going with a moral kind of mentality, we might see things that we prefer not to explore our kids and family to it with the continuous improvement. But hopefully improvement here will be on the positive side, not on the negative side. Innovation and creativity is the same thing as mentioned earlier. Also, with ethical considerations, we would like to see the scientists who are working on these kind of tools to consider all the ethical impact and follow the ethical impact for any new invention. Because if something that unethical it's going to harm us and will not see any positive side of it. So keeping things in an ethical way, I think that's what we'd like to see, and that will help us even to embrace that technology even more. Number 5, collaboration and integration. We would like to see the companies who deliver this kind of technology, they collaborate with each other. So we know that they will keep an eye on, the products being ethical and should be used in a positive way. But when they collaborate with the other companies and also with people who put the government regulations or something like the ISO. The ISO, as I mentioned, is the International Organization of Standardization. So if this, the developers and the inventors that are working with the government, with ISO, we're going to make sure that the new tool or new device would be used in ethical way, and it's based on positive kind of functions that will help us to improve our lives. Monopoly behavior. This is actually a very interesting one. As we know that the United States gets all their needs of the microchips that they use for the computers, a good percentage of it come from Taiwan. I believe the United States only manufacture 20%, and we get the 80% from Taiwan. So if China decided to attack Taiwan, what will happen to that industry? Where are we going to get our microchips, and would it China be the one that in charge or in control of these kind of microchips, and they would be the one who decide who to sell it to and who not to sell it to? So that's why I said it could be a monopoly behavior. But I'm sure, the government, they're looking at what's right when it comes to being fair and using, another hardware from another countries, and they keep an eye on that kind of politics. So many might ask a question such as, will AI take over human civilization? And this is actually a very good question, but at the same time, it's very debatable because we know that people in that field, they are very creative. And as we said before, the sky is the limit. So we're not quite sure how far they can go with these ideas that they have in mind, such as ASI or even AGI and then ASI and self-awareness. All these stages seem to us like maybe science fiction, but will it be true? Will it be really accomplished through the technology of AI? So again, I did hear the same thing I did before when I asked Copilot about that question. And the reason for that, because it's very debatable. So some might say yes, some might say no. But probably the people who say no a lot more than the people who say yes. So let's see what the co-pilot, how they answer that question. So the question of whether AI will take over human civilization is a topic of much debate and speculation. Experts generally agree that while AI has the potential to significantly impact society, the idea of AI posing an extinction level threat or taking over civilization is considered overwhelmed by many in the field. AI is advancing rapidly and has already made remarkable contributions across various sectors such as healthcare, robotics, stock market, stock trading, and more. However, it's important to distinguish between narrow AI, which is designed for specific tasks, and artificial general intelligence AGI, which would have the ability to understand and learn and apply knowledge in a way similar to human. Currently, AGI is not within our technological reach, and most AI applications are task specific. Moreover, experts emphasize the importance of ethical consideration and regulations to ensure that AI is developed responsibly. The focus is on harnessing AI capabilities to augment human abilities and improve quality of life while mitigating risk and ensuring that AI systems are aligned with human values. And actually, this third point I'm very much in agreement with, and I think that should be the answer to that question. Because the AI, we don't see it to replace human, but the AI would like to see it as augment human abilities. So it augment doctors and nurses, augment people in the stock market, augment teachers, but not taking over the human race. So in summary, while AI is transforming many aspects of our lives and may continue to do so, the consensus among experts is that AI is not on the verge of taking over human civilization. Instead, the focus is in leveraging AI potential benefits while managing its challenge and risks. And I believe that through this presentation, the 4 volumes we have now about, AI ethics awareness and AI awareness and ethics. We believe that this is really what the way we say it, that it's not taking over human civilization, but we need to leverage AI. And while we're managing that, we have to manage the challenges and risk and any kind of thing that could hurt humans. So just to summarize some of the ethical issues of AI as we discussed earlier. So one of the ethical issue here is bias and discrimination. The AI system can extend the existing biases or create new forms of discrimination, particularly if trained on biased data set. Also, that data privacy and protection, we spoke about that when we talked about the cybersecurity and privacy. So the vast amount of data AI system required can lead to breaches of privacy and raise questions about data ownership and consent. Actually, there's a good point around this issue specific because in healthcare, if we're going to train the machine to diagnose and make recommendation about treatment, we need a lot of input data to feed into the system, the neural network. But the question is where the data would be coming from, because hospitals and clinics cannot really communicate or share the patient's information to any of the companies that in the field of AI because of the HIPAA rules. So the question is, where are they going to get the data in order for the system to really run efficient and provide with the accurate outcomes? And I will leave that question to people in regulations and in healthcare. Decision accountability. When AI systems make decisions, it can be unclear who is responsible for these decisions, especially if they lead to negative outcomes. And actually, we talked about that specific one when we talked about warfare. If the drones find a terrorist someplace and attack that place, but there are a lot of other kids around this person, or innocent people, whose mistake that would be, the AI or the military. Environmental impact, again, the issue with the energy consumption and carbon footprint associated with training and naming and running large AI models are significant environmental concerns. Also, the use of water is another issue because the data centers need a lot of water to keep the cooler running in the data center, so the servers would be running efficient. Effects on the workforce. AI can lead to job displacement and requires a shift in skills for the workforce, raising concern about employment and economic inequality. And that's true. We see a lot of companies now laid many people off. Company like Amazon or some, financial company laid some of their financial analysts and laid them off and replaced them with AI. Customer service also, in many places, their functions were replaced by AI. So where this thing are going, and the people who lost their job because of AI, there's a program for them to retrain them on a different skill so they can go back to the employment kind of stage or status. So addressing these issues involve combination of technical solutions such as improving AI algorithms and data practices and policy measures such as regulation and ethical guidelines. It's a collaborative effort that requires input from technologists, ethical people, policymakers, and the public to ensure AI is developed and used in a way that benefits society as a whole. So we all here have responsibility that we need to know, to let the government know about our position with many of the ethical issues around AI, and also about the faith that we want to protect and protect our kids from being imposed by some challenges in different places to question the existence of God. So there is a lot of responsibility on us parents to do so, either with government or with other entities.